As hinted by last week's preview for this week's episode, the looming theme was children, and all the hurdles that come with bringing a little dragon rider into this world. We've already seen Visery and Alicent's children. Their 2 sons and daughter have just gone through the crazy 10-year time jump. Rhaenyra has 3 boys now, and even Damon has finally figured out how to get the job done, making 2 girls with his wife, Laena Velaryon. As young as they are, all these kids with Targaryen blood have their own little drama and conflicts brewing. But a whole lot hasn't changed in these 10 years, aside from some actors playing the characters. Rhaenyra and her husband Laenor's pact to fall in love with whoever they want has played out, but not without everyone noticing. It was already a well-known secret that Laenor preferred men, but now their quote-unquote children look just like Harwin Strong, the commander of the City Watch, and the son of the Hand of the King. We don't see how Rhaenyra and Harwin got close, but if you knew where to look in past episodes, you could always spot Harwin making his intentions known. Unfortunately for us viewers, Harwin's already gone before any real substantial characterization was given to him. Harwin's the strongest man of this era, and of course he has to have that last name Strong. But we saw the more sensitive side to his character this episode. He cares about Rhaenyra and his children, a little too protective. His interest in his older boys' training led him to getting baited into assaulting their trainer, Criston Cole. So he had to be removed from court at his position of commander of the City Watch. The oldest of his sons, Visery, second in line to the Iron Throne, has been made aware of the alleged bastard scandal. Rhaenyra can't even outright deny it when he has all those strong genes, because those were some strong genes. She can only reaffirm that he's a Targaryen, something no one can doubt while he has Vermax, that will grow with him. We don't get to see his little brother Lucerys' dragon, though it is mentioned that Aemond is the only one of them to not have a bond formed as of yet. So Lucerys has one down there in the pits somewhere, just maybe half the size of Vermax. I love how deep we're delving into the bonding process and training with the aid of the Dragon Keepers. This poor old guy looks like some dragon fire got him good in this line of work. Daenerys had no Targaryen family member guiding her bonding process with Drogon. All she knew was that the connection with Drogon was stronger than the other 2, but it was still difficult to bend Drogon to her demands. A Targaryen egg was chosen by Lucerys to be placed with baby Joffrey, and we learned that one of Daemon's twin daughters, Rhaena, is struggling hatching the egg that was placed in her cradle 8 years ago. I think Rhaena and Baela are still twins in the show, and the reason they would change that from the books because they don't have to be identical or anything. Daemon being a piece of shit has no interest in a child of his that doesn't control a dragon. Rhaena believes he only cares about Baela. It doesn't seem like Daemon even cared much for his wife Laena, though I'm sure he liked flying around with vhagar. That is one thing we learn about her. Laena finally bonded with vhagar off-screen when she was 15. It would be awkward seeing Daemon being the single dad to a child he doesn't value, with Laena now gone. But with like Joffrey's situation last week, I wish we got more Laena. Again, the pacing is just way too fast. Laena and the Strongs died in all that fire already. It's not an important piece of info, but the Targaryen-Velaryon couples, by that I mean Damon and Laena, and Rhaenyra and Laenor, are mentioned to have a great relationship amongst the 4 of them. Seeing them all interact together is not boring, and the only reason to cut it from the prequel was to focus on more viral-like moments. This first setup season is only hurting from that 10 episode per season format. A specific scene with Damon and his girls after the death of Laena also seems to have been deleted. Jeez. It's so conflicting liking this show so much, but then randomly some horrible pacing sets it back. It's okay to have slow episodes, but everyone is so scared to make it happen, even though it only makes for a better series, with more rewatchability and more people recommending it to others. Not every episode has to be the Red Wedding, otherwise the Red Wedding would have no real sense of despair. While I like watching vhagar struggle with killing its own master, Laena's death meant nothing. An interesting change from how she died in the books, but still no one cares about Laena or ever will, because she just came and went. I know she's not the most important character in the lore, but isn't the point of this prequel to expand on the book Fire and Blood? Because all the book does is give brief summaries of each Targaryen generation. The writers of House of the Dragon must feel like this is all preliminary stuff that may lose people. I can only hope they pump the brakes a little in the 2nd season. It wasn't so bad to see Lionel go, as well written as he was, as it was to see his older son Harwin go. There was no mystery behind that castle fire. Little brother Larys made a big power play in ordering the deaths of his own powerful father and powerful brother. The relationship between the Strongs seemed good, but Larys always did have a deep interest in Alicent's affairs. Otto Hightower returning to court as Rhaenyra leaves will be crushing for her claim to the Iron Throne. Larys also has a lot to gain from Lionel and Harwin being out of the picture, because he's now the Lord of Harrenhal. However, like Littlefinger though, he definitely has higher aspirations than Harrenhal. A very good villain for the show, even made sure to properly cover his tracks with removing the killer's tongue and giving them misleading sigils to frame Old Man Visery, who's still on the small council. The divide between Alicent's faction and Rhaenyra has developed some. Criston Cole is a full Hightower supporter, and Alicent is even dressing her boys in green. It's not like they care about all the court politics. Even the douchier Aegon has no interest in taking power away from the other side of his family. The relationship between the 4 boys isn't great, but not all that different from regular dynamics in a large home. Alicent is forcing the divide out of paranoia. Her character has progressed a little in these 10 years, being a more fierce presence with the absence of her father, almost running King Viserys by this point, as he still closes his eyes to family matters. He doesn't look like he has much time left in him, now missing his entire arm. Aegon has his dragon, named Sunfire, that we didn't get to see in the dragon pit, and Aemond is still dragonless, which isn't too uncommon for an 11 or 12-year-old. But it's clear he wasn't given an egg in the cradle like other Targaryens. This has Viserys' fingerprints all over it. Alicent wouldn't know the dragon traditions, so it'd be up to Viserys to grab him an egg, which he didn't do, likely because of his belief that their power should be left alone. Aemond does approach an untamed dragon in the pit, which could be Dreamfire, because it would match the appropriate size. We'll hear more about Dreamfire probably in the next episode, but I love this dragon's name. The boys interacting like normal schoolyard boys was nice, something I'm glad the show emphasized how normal they are at this age, but they'll be growing up very fast soon. None of them have had much time with Uncle Daemon around, and we all know single Daemon is coming to add in more chaos. That'll bring a whole new dynamic to the Targaryen Velaryon Hightower family. See you guys then.